Based on a series of D&D-style novels that have spawned countless media over the past 3 decades, the Record of Lodoss War series and its sequels have been something I had heard of but never actually seen. That is, until, out of nowhere, a Castlevania Symphony of the Night clone showed up on the Xbox Game Pass app. After some positive buzz from the gaming community, I figured I'd take a look and see just what this incredibly long-named title had to offer, and I was pleasantly surprised. This is the XboxEra review of Record of Lodoss War, Deedlit in Wonder Labyrinth. The story in this game is both basic and confusing, as it is set after the original series of books and I think before the sequel series, but in my Googling it wasn't 100% clear. The good news is, the game is so fun that you do not need to know anything about the series beforehand. It'll be a bunch of weird but basic nonsense that flies by in the blink of an eye. As this is not a very long game, you play as the titular Deedlit, a light elf who is in love with the main protagonist of the original book series named Parn. It goes a lot of places, and after completing it, I did a little more Googling to try and figure out just when in the canon this game took place, and I think I got it right. I don't know. There's a lot to this series. The average completion of the main story is a roughly 5.5 hour experience, but the map is enjoyable to clear, so it may take you a little bit longer. This game is a shameless ripoff of Symphony of the Night in all the best ways. It controls great, has completely broken builds that make you feel insanely powerful at times, and it has a great variety in all the key areas. There's a large number of different weapons, magic attacks, items, enemy type, and solid biome diversity. It does work, however, on a save room system, with teleport rooms also allowing you to quickly traverse the map. Their placement generally means you will have to do a bit of backtracking, but it certainly cuts down your wasted time. Personally, I really do despise save room setups that lack any type of checkpointing though. Few things are as frustrating as making one wrong turn, missing a save room, and then dying after 25 minutes of progress, which completely lose. The game relies fully on the classic Metroidvania style of finding keys, which are either new abilities or just actual keys, to unlock progression blockers. There are some fantastic upgrades you unlock early on, thankfully, that make it what can be a frustrating platforming experience at the start turn into something that feels excellent. I almost didn't stick with the game after the opening section as it felt so stilted movement-wise. Thankfully though, you quickly unlock a few moves that make jumping from platform to platform a breeze. There is a light leveling up system and an inventory one as well that's clean and easy to use. A few minigames litter the labyrinth and add a bit of spice to mix things up with various rewards on offer. Enemies will respawn every time you enter a room outside of a few exceptions, such as bosses. Basic control setup took a bit of getting used to, as B is your jump button and A is for attacks. You'll use X to cast magic or use items, and Y is for your bow attacks. The left bumper is a quick dash backwards, and the right bumper is to swap between elements. These elements are the key to the game as you quickly unlock the wind and fire elemental sprites to fight at your side. Many of the game's enemies operate on a resistance/immune mechanic, so you must use one element or the other to either do more damage or any damage at all to them. Color-coded magic attacks and barriers require you to juggle through your sprites on the fly as you become immune to that type of damage while using that type of sprite. And the entire system felt immensely satisfying to me. Record of Lodoss War, Deedlit in Wonder Labyrinth, wow that's a long name, is quite nice looking. It's also under 1 GB in size as there is no voice acting, and the game uses that classic 2.5D art style of the early PlayStation and Saturn era from Symphony of the Night. It's a rather basic art style with nothing too fantastical for the genre, but it is well animated, and outside of a few areas, it is very clean and thankfully easy to read what's going on during combat. The translation of the text was solid for the most part. There was no all your base moment. And I was able to keep up with the story enough so that I didn't feel confused about what was going on. It is quite different music-wise, where things range from quiet to a very loud and non-stop punch in your ears. Each chapter gets its own biome and music, which does lend a nice sense of change as you progress through all 6 of them. I didn't run into any bugs while playing, and performance felt great on my Series X as one would hope. Accessibility-wise, there really isn't much on offer for game difficulty, but there are a large number of languages available for the in-game text. The only other options are one overall volume slider, controller vibration, and the player afterimage. And that afterimage slider is a good one, as it can be a bit distracting to have multiple images of everything you do linger for a split second as you're jumping around the screen. In conclusion, as this game is on Game Pass, it's an easy recommendation to anyone interested in the genre. It is $25 at the time of this review if you prefer to own your games. If you aren't big on a Symphony of the Night clone, then stay away. But if you are, this is a solid 6 or so hour experience that is well worth your time. I still may have little to no clue what Record of Lodoss War is, but I am excited to see what developer Team Ladybug might do with the series in the future. Thank you so much for watching. If you can, like, comment, and subscribe. It's one of the best ways to help the channel grow. And we'll see you here next time on XboxEra.